Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Good.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary
in the meantime,
Podcast.
welcome. Let's go.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on. Come on. Woo.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Your soul.
Come on.
Your soul.
Yeah.
Just because you are. Your soul. Your soul. Believe it in your heart. Ooh. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in
Welcome
to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Good.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary
in the meantime,
Podcast.
welcome. Let's go.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on. Come on. Woo.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Your soul.
Come on.
Your soul.
Yeah.
Just because you are. Your soul. Your soul. Believe it in your heart. Ooh. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Come on.
Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in
Welcome
to the Be Extraordinary
Podcast.
Podcast. Let's go.
Alrighty. Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you doing? All is well here with us, and we are happy to have you back with us on the Be Extraordinary podcast. This is episode 18, that we are doing today, and we are so excited to be part of this show. You know my name, I'm Joetta, your 4-time Olympian, your motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and all that good stuff. I love to talk about my P's: have a purpose, get prepared, be patient, get perturbed, and persevere. And I think that that is what you have to do in the midst of all that's going on, not only with the pandemic, but in life, and also with our fitness challenge. And I say our, and I say we, because I have a co-host, and that is Tyrone Johnson. And he has his 5 F's. He's a retired firefighter, and he's been doing a lot of great things in the fires, and now he's out of the fires, and he's has his 5 F's. And fire should be one of your 5 F's too, I guess, right?
No,
fire. Okay.
Once you get out of that, no.
What are your 5
No,
F's?
so my 5 F's are faith, family, fitness, finance, and friends. it switches up. Faith and family never changes. The last three, the top three never changes. The last two might change every now and then.
Yeah, you got to.
So with this fitness challenge, I might have to. I can't go in front of finance.
No,
It's gonna stay right
no. There, keep finance there, keep fitness there, keep friends the way it is. I like the way that looks right now. So we are here to let you know that we have a great sponsor, and our sponsor is Leslie Inspirations. She talks about motivation and empowerment, and she's also a minister. So she loves to have programs where she goes and speaks the word of God and how that can help you through any situation that you're going through, be it your 5 Ps or your 5 Fs. You got to have the faith in God and all of that. So thank you, Leslie Speaks and Leslie Inspirations, for being a sponsor of this podcast. We are also here at Bizon Creative, who does so much in media, design, websites, pictures, photography. So if you want someone that does great work and gets it back in a timely manner, please contact Bizon Creative. His information is on the website, and you can find out more about what he does. So thank you very much for that. And we have an amazing, I love our little jingle. So I want to give a shout out to Chrissy B Productions.
Yes, Chrissy.
For that jingle. And if you want a jingle for your work, or if you want some music for something that you're doing, some background music, Chrissy B Productions is who you reach out to. And this has been a very difficult time for you, I know, thinking about 9/11, being a rescuer. So we just want to let you know that we're thankful for the work that you did going over on 9/12. So we want to thank you for 20 years of service in 9/11 recovery as a retired firefighter.
Hold up, Joetta. Why'd you put that? Thank you.
You're welcome.
See, this one with the tricks. Thank you.
That's no trick. That's a sincere.
Yes, thank you. That was a special day for me.
Yeah. So thank you. You look a little bit young there, but you still look the same. You're the same. 20 years ago. So that's a blessing that you're still here and was able to go over there and do what you did, and with the other firefighters and rescue men and women that were over there, and then the people who are not in service, who were helping out other people too.
Yeah.
As we always say, we wish that we could have that type of relationship when it's not a crisis, and I think that that's something that we can work on moving forward. But right now, we just want to thank everyone for coming in, and we have some rules of engagement that we're going to go talk about, and then after we do our rules of engagement, we're going to have our guest for the show, Sheila Inman, come live. But we have the rules, and Tyrone, you want to do the rules for the show?
2 segments or 3?
We should have 3 segments, but
I'm looking at 2.
but we may only have 2, depends on how it goes.
We're gonna have 3 20-minute segments. The first one is gonna be on mental health. A lot of people going through a lot of different things. And with that being said, we just want to give you a couple of things that we've went through and, continue to go through. But, you don't have to live in that space. Then we're going to talk about nutrition. A lot of things that you guys are doing right now in the last week, keep doing it. So Sheila's going to come on and give you a little bit more insight on how she gets her patients to transition from eating really bad to starting to eat good. In the last segment probably would be, putting the pieces back together. Right. That's what the segment is about. So if anybody have any things to talk about when we come to the check-in, you can just let us know. Thank you.
You can raise your hand, you can put it up in the chat, that'd be good. And what I love about our show, the Be Extraordinary podcast, we want you to tune in to hear conversations with leaders, influencers that will inspire you to reach your fullest potential in all areas of life. If we're going to take an hour of your time, we don't want to just chit and chat.
Yeah.
We want to give you some information for you to take and grow and to become that extraordinary person that you're already going to be. So that's why it's so important that we get right to it. And speaking about getting right to it, I want to talk to you a little bit about Sheila Inman and her bio. I'm not going to read all of it to you. So often it's better to be able to talk to her about her points, but Tyrone is going to be able to help you with that picture there.
Okay. Why? Because it's small?
Yeah, because it's small, very small. Okay. All right. But I do see one thing, and I don't know how many of you have done this, graduated number 1 in your high school class and in college, but that's exactly what she's done. And she's is an RN, and she works down in Florida. But Tyrone will take it from here, and then we'll
Okay,
have her come
I'm
on.
just gonna give you a little background from Miss Sheila Inman. Um, Sheila went to high school in Shabazz, straight A's, valedictorian. That's number one. Transitioned to Rutgers University, nursing program, straight A's. Left Rutgers, went to Ohio for a while, then she commuted to Florida. Right now, Sheila is very dedicated in her field. She's done a lot in nursing. She's been in nursing for over 3 decades. She's been in the field of health, wellness, fitness. She does classes with cooking classes for her patient. She does Tai Chi classes with her patients. She does mental health classes with her patients. And I remember when COVID hit, talking to Sheila, she told me that she was administrating the COVID shots, the COVID vaccines, the COVID, the testing and everything like that. So with Sheila, it's just 1,000 things. And a couple of things that she has done is, these are some of the small things that turned out to be big things in her life. She started out healthcare disease prevention nurse as a healthcare disease prevention nurse. Then she became a whole health facilitator. Then she went into the tobacco field with, trying to get people off of, smoking tobacco. And then she went to the veterans healthcare system. So when I say the things that she made these programs herself, she built up these programs. So a lot of things that Sheila has done, you can sit there and you can read. She's won a lot of different awards. She's certified in so many different avenues. So her skill set is through the roof. So Joetta?
The next face you'll see will be Sheila. And you forgot to say, she's been doing all of this for the VA the entire time, right? Or most of the time?
Mm-hmm.
For a long time. So she worked in the VA. So thank you, Sheila, for gracing our show. Be extraordinary. You exemplify exactly what that is. You are extraordinary. We know that. Now our audience will know how extraordinary you are. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Hello.
Yes.
Well, we're just gonna jump right into this portion because it's about the pressures and dealing with mental stress. And if you don't mind, could you please just talk to us a little bit about the mental stress and what you do? How relevant and how important is that now, especially through the pandemic? And then we'll backtrack to why you got started in this field.
Okay, definitely. Mental health has been on the rise. A lot of patients have had exacerbations of different things that dealt with mental illness and the stressors of COVID, things like that have caused stress on, which increased their, their conditions. So when we're talking about stress, basically, stress can be positive or negative. And I do a lot of times hear people say they don't have stress. And I beg to differ because I know during COVID, we all experienced it in some sort of way.
Yes.
Positive stressors, you can sort of win the lottery and you all of a sudden have these cousins that come out the woodwork that you never thought you had and you don't know what to do with the money. Right. But you can also have things like death and dying, which we have dealt with, 9/11 for sure. As a first responder, I have served at both of those things. And I believe those were the biggest stressors of my career. And my colleagues feel about the same way. So go ahead.
So when we talk about the mental stress and 9/11 and COVID, could you just talk to the audience about, we're talking about the transition of parents and friends and people via COVID or not with COVID. Can you please talk to them about and walk them through what they might feel and if it's okay to feel like this, just to try and help them? Because I know on a daily basis, you do that at the VA with people, but what can you tell our audience to deal with the transition of loved ones?
Well, basically, not to definitely be alone and isolate yourself. I know that the things that are on the rise for almost everyone, whether they have mental illness or not, they're experiencing some sort of anxiety or depression, which are two of the main things that we go through. And usually when you're dealing with points like that, you're having sadness that won't go away, and it's lasting for such a long time, or you're feeling that you're lonely and you're all alone. So when we were trapped, all of us in our homes, we had some created isolation that we had to begin to have these type of feelings. People who had not had anxiety or depression have been diagnosed with that. They began to feel those things as well. So what we were trying to do with patients and also with society in general is to try to slow down as providers as well, try to slow down and assess what's going on, because you're hearing a lot of different information which changes daily.
Yes.
And with me working for the government, it does change drastically. It comes hot off the press to us first. And now I'm hearing different changes. We're wearing a mask and we're not wearing a mask. And the PPE that our providers have, we're stressed out because we don't think that it's enough for us. So I think we all just had to cover up and come out of this norm that we had. And it was extremely stressful for us.
Oh, okay. So Sheila, I just want to commend you for all your hard work throughout all the years of being a first responder, second responder, and third responder. And I just wanted to ask, how was it for you personally, knowing that last year, I think around March, when things were shutting down, and they gave you a choice to, still come to work, or some people stay home. What was your choice at that
Well,
moment?
yes, just like 9/11 and even now, I am a servant first. And as I talk about this, I can't really talk about spirituality and religion within the
Yes.
government, but I do use it because it is what sustained me. So I took an oath to help patients and my community, and it doesn't come with degrees of thinking about yourself or no form of selfishness. So you have to be flexible. You have to work nights, which I was switched completely to another shift. I was in shock at times because as a government hospital, we have to help the community. So we had nursing homes that most of the staff was out on quarantine. So we had to come out of our hospitals to serve the community as well. And so it just felt sometimes that I wasn't enough. A lot of us felt that way because we are into saving and people get better. And when you're seeing death and dying and things like that, it's taxing on you. So you're starting to be haunted by your own mortality. And if you're able to be able to survive, or you're going to take something home to harm your family. So when you left every day, whether you're a fireman or you're any responder that went out there, you didn't know if you were coming back.
That's
So
right.
it was very scary.
Yes.
And I think that that's something that we can share, is that even though you were afraid, you still did your job. You did your
Yes.
part, and you were committed to doing that. And that's why I think that when we're talking about mental stress, the stresses that you have, but if you could give us some steps, some strategies to work through the mental stress of going back to work, losing a loved one, dealing with the family members and kids. They always say that there's 6 stages. You have acceptance, insight, action, self-esteem, healing, and meaning. But when you're going through the situation, we don't really have time to analyze what stage we're in and what order it goes. But how can you talk to people to help them through their stages and saying it's okay not to be okay?
Okay. So one thing I had to do was focus. It's like you're in the middle of a fire or you're in the middle of chaos. And we're in the building where everybody who thinks they have it or has it is coming. So you have to be able to think positively and be able to say, well, I'm here. I said my prayers and I hope that I'm covered. And so you're asking people to do whatever they can to be positive, find their positive support. I mean, you have people sending you little texts throughout the day just to help you through the day, because any minute something can happen. And so I would just suggest, when people are going through things, assess the situation, because in nursing, assessment is everything, because we're told a lot of different things, and we have to see how difficult things are for people and figure out how to help them. So we're suggesting, if you need medications, you may need that to help you if you're overly anxious or depressed, or you may even need behavioral health counseling. And that's okay, because that's got a bad stigma sometimes when you have to see a psychologist or a psych person. So you're thinking about the stigma of just sitting on a couch and telling people your worries, but it's okay, because sometimes it's situational, and definitely for all of us, you got to have somebody to talk to, and the support system has to be strong. Yes, for sure.
And Sheila, I would realize that when we're talking about mental stress, and a lot of times I used to tell Joetta, I was fine when I saved somebody, or I rescued somebody, or I helped somebody, or I got somebody, out of a situation. But when we would get to a job and I would, attempt to rescue this person and pull them out, and the next thing I know, it was a little bit too late. I'm doing CPR, and I would lose them, and it's 2:00 in the morning, and then by the next morning, Firefighter Johnson, pulled out, blah, 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 gave her the age and everything, 70, 80, whatever. And an hour later, that person passed. For me, it was so hard, because I didn't want my name to be even in the paper, because I thought I didn't do my job. I got there as fast as I could. So that mental stress, and that I was kind of depressed at times, because now the next job for me, it was like, you better get there faster. You better get in that door. You better do all of these things. So I know with you, the first person walked through the door and they're saying, I can't breathe, or I have a situation, and you're looking at this person, and now you're going, okay, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna do my job. So a lot of times I was telling Joetta, it's the things that we have to go deep down inside of ourselves and realize that the man upstairs, has the last call. I want to put my hands on that person and keep them going, but it's upstairs.
And then you think about that as providers in the industry. But so I don't know how many of our listeners are in the industry of health services or first responders, and we'll see that in a minute. But one thing I can say is that there are steps, there are stages that you have to go through. And you being in this field for over 30 years, working with the VA, I'm sure you've seen so many different mental steps. But could you just, before we finish this segment and go to some questions, I keep asking you to give them some steps, some go-to points, because I know a lot of people are struggling and they come to the show for information. So could you just give them, if you had to give them 2 points to deal with, in quickness, to deal with the mental stresses that they're going through, what would you tell them to do?
Well, tell them to sort of check in with yourself. You have to check in with yourself mentally, socially, spiritually, and making sure that everything is on the same page. Because one thing can be really off balance, and if you're not having yourself all together, and you're trying to go out there every day and you're filtering information, looking at different websites and hearing different people do things, you have to realize that deal with the reality of situations of websites and places like the CDC, and make sure that your information is valid, because you're trying to get a shot and someone says, no, the shot is going to kill you, or they're telling you different things and you're trying to figure out what to do. Go to your providers, go do a check-in with them, and let them explain the do's and the don'ts in your situation, because you may not be one that would be a candidate to get it. So just check in with those who are supporting with you and make sure that you're on the right page.
And that could relieve some mental stress too. It's like
Yes.
the unknown, and then you're trying to analyze it
Yeah.
all by yourself, and then you
Yes.
have people out there for you. So I like to say you have to analyze something, organize, initiate, and follow through. So you analyze where you are mentally, and then you have to organize your troops, your people who you can go to, and then you have to initiate, be proactive, and then follow through with the information that you find out. So I just think that it's so important, Sheila, that you said that to our audience for them to know that too. There's help out there, and that for them to go and seek this help because it will change.
Yeah.
And once you stay in that mental state, sometimes it go down, down, down,
Oh
and
yeah.
you become so far away from
I tell
society.
Joetta a lot that a lot of times when people experience death in a real close family friend or somebody that's really special to you, it's not the first week, the second week, the first month, the first year. It is embedded in you because you used to calling them, used to seeing them, used to talking to them. So when COVID hit and everybody was isolated, even I couldn't go see my dad for a year, and I had a flight a week before they shut the airport down. So now, 12 months later, I had to deal with it. FaceTime is good, and blah blah. But the physical with people that you really want to see, that's hard. It's very hard.
So,
Yes.
do we have any questions? This is our check-in time. Do we have any questions from the audience and our viewers? Do they want to talk about what they're going through? Do they have any check-in points? If you do, we always say raise your hand,
Yeah.
or you can put something in the chat. And if you don't, we're going to keep moving because Sheila has a wealth of information, and we're trying to get through it all. I do say that this has been a very difficult time for a lot of people, but being an athlete, my mental was always on top. Being in business, my mental was always on top. But sometimes I just don't know if I can or cannot do that. And then it's important to have that go-to person to talk to that helps you get through it. We
Yeah.
have a
We got
question from Judy Norman. So could you unmute your mic? And Judy, we'd love to hear what you have to say. And then we go to Sophia. Judy?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
Hi,
can.
hi there.
Hello.
Question for a great conversation. My family our father is in a nursing home, and it's really been hard for us not to be able to physically see him. And it's like every time, like they'll open it up, and then all of a sudden they'll have some kind of COVID thing with their employees. And it's just very difficult for us because this is like, treasured time, and we don't get to see him. We don't get to hug him. We can't, it's not the same, doing FaceTime. And we're kind of having some struggle with that. I mean, it's already bad enough that he's in that type of, in a facility like that, and also his condition, but just the fact that we can't see our father physically in person and hug him and love on him, that's very challenging for us. And any suggestions?
Sheila, thank you, Judy, for sharing that. And our prayers go to your family. Sheila, can you answer her question and help her through that?
Well, I thank you, Julie, because is too, as providers, as we're in the hospital with your loved ones, and we know what you do go through, and it's very difficult for them as well as it is for you. And I would say I know we can't change the course of going in, so we have to just stay in touch with the providers, making sure that we are standing in the gap for those situations when you need to be with your loved ones, because our norm was to see families at the bedside when patients are going through difficult times. The new norm is that you may have to go to surgeries and procedures by yourself, and you sometimes don't get to see people come out. So we're speaking for you. So we do a lot of checking in on our patients to make sure that we are reminding them and giving them reassurance that we're here with you. You're not alone. We spoke to your family, and even if they can't talk, we're whispering and we're holding their hands. And I know it's difficult, and I just say, hang in there. And we hope that this does change, but we share your pain for sure.
Yeah, I can feel it in your voice, and I can feel it in her voice too. So that's good that we do have people like you that care.
Yes.
And even though she can't love on him, it should be reassuring. I'm sure he's in the facility that they chose for him, that someone does care and he is getting that love. And that's all you can hang on to right now.
Yes.
We have Sophia, a question from Sophia.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing? Yes.
Hi, yes, I had a comment. I was a first responder during the first 9/11 attack on the World Trade, and this things that came up, with the 9/11 now, it stays with you. So my comment was that sometimes people may feel embarrassed to reach out for help when they've not done it before. I am a veteran, and the VA is very good about with their whole health program.
Okay.
But I just wanted to ask about the different ways that people can come forward and not feel like they are putting too much on anyone else, because the first responders, they are taking the brunt of everything. So you don't want to overtax them either.
Yeah.
But thank you for your service. And
Thank you.
And that was a good comment. So I guess she wants you to come forward and get help, Sheila.
Yes, and definitely we keep your information confidential, and we try to treat all of our patients, and I would say, as family. And we're making sure that we're trying to meet your needs, and only sharing your information with those providers that have a need to know. So I know it's tough to talk about our weaknesses, but I say that we're there, we are ready, we're available. We do suffer from things. One of the things is compassion fatigue that we go through sometimes, just for doing so much and trying to change gears in between patients and situations. But we have a lot of things going on where we're doing meditation. If you are a veteran, you can ask about those type things. And we're doing mindfulness and just being in the moment, not what we experienced back then, but just being here and being able to relax and express yourself. And we're here to help. We have a lot of services for veterans, and in the same way, if you have providers in the private sector, to check out with what services and resources you have in your areas.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Sophia.
And we have a question from Leslie. And then while she's queuing up, I just want to say that it's so very important that I keep saying this. I read a book, it was called It's Okay Not to Be Okay. And I guess the thing that you have to know is, even if you're not okay, it's okay not to be okay. And then you work through those steps. So I think, Sheila, you've been talking to everyone and trying to get them to be okay, but they first have to admit that they're not okay.
Not okay, right?
Yeah. Leslie?
Right.
Yes, good evening, Joetta, Tyrone, and Joetta, and especially
Hello,
Sheila on today. Sheila, I first want to appreciate you for your selfless sacrifices, and I applaud you. I want you to know that it's very touching right now, because your spirit transcends beyond this screen. I can tell your compassion that you have for people. And I often say that some people are in nursing because of profession, and others because they are a gift from God, and it is a ministry. And I feel that, and in everything that you're saying on today. My question is, Sheila, how do you separate yourself? I noticed that in your bio, you talked about meditation. Having to go and to deal with everybody's situation, everybody's stress, and all of the things that are happening, especially right now. What do you do to prepare yourself for that environment?
I try to make sure that I'm asking the team to debrief after situations, or we do lose someone, because simultaneously, sometimes people are having heart attacks on one end of the floor, and then you run into the other side. I've experienced all of that, but I have to reset, and you don't have long to do that. And so it may be while I'm washing my hands and meditating, and I'm focusing on what has just happened and how I have to clear my slate quickly, so that I can be ready and available for the next person that needs me. So it's something that you learn through the years, because you know that you're called, like you said, and you know that it is your gift, and you can't just break down when people have seconds and minutes to live, and you have to respond very quickly at times, and you just do it, and it comes natural if you're here for the right reasons in nursing field.
But thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Sheila,
you.
for explaining that. And I do think it's so important that you connect with the audience, because a lot of them out there now might have questions, but they may be fearful or ashamed, or they don't want to ask
let
the
it out
question.
sometimes.
Let it out.
That's
You
what
want to
it
hold it.
is.
A lot of people, alpha men, want to hold on to everything, and they don't think that
No, 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 no.
they need help. But I think that you being on the show with the years of experience, with your compassion, and you have been in so many different areas, and we're going to get to that next, which is nutrition. But before we get to that, I want to talk to Tyrone, because he does the Joe Time Health Tips. And the Joe Time Health Tips for this week are something about energy and power. And even though, God has all the power, you have some power too, and it's energy and your power in your body. So the Joe Time Health Tip will be up next, and he's going to go about talking about those parts for the whole health tip.
Okay, with this health tip this week, a lot of things have been going on throughout the universe, not just the world, the universe. And a lot of times the energy comes from the universe. The energy comes from within. Everything is energized. And right now, this health tip is powering us up. Power yourself up. Let's get powered back up. So these are some of the little health tips that I do almost every single day if things, get, the best of me. I breathe. Sometimes when you're angry, today I'm driving, minding my business. It's traffic. Somebody's blowing the horn. So I got a little angry in my head. I didn't yell or scream, okay?
Good.
I do challenge a lot of my thoughts, because when I had COVID, I was wondering how long it was going to take for me to get back to being normal. So in going to release anger, I released the anger by just breathing out, going back to number one. I visualize myself being calm a lot, because what I do is I do a lot of self-training myself. In the morning, I wake up and I do a little bit of exercise, and I do my little hands like this, and I breathe. Mm-hmm. Then I go down to thinking it through or writing it down. A lot of things that Joetta does, and she's a walking encyclopedia. She writes things down and she goes back to remember what she needs to do next time. Right. And the favorite thing for her is listening to music. Everything is music. Yeah. We all have our little things that we like to do. So those are some of the stresses that we can calm ourselves down. Right. Now, when you look at functions of the energy, it allows the muscles to contract. It's very small, but I'm reading it. It's using energy generated through the muscles. And then we go down to that makes it possible for us to lift things. So a lot of times when you're about to lift things, the energy goes into that part of your body and you go to lift it up. Right. So a lot of times we just don't want to just lift things up. You got to get energized to lift things up, even your spirits. Okay, then we go down and a couple of more things. It moves the proteins through your body. Then there's 3 energy guzzlers. These 3 things take your energy.
They sap a lot of time. They sap all your energy.
Sap your energy.
And no matter if it's big or small, they still sapping every bit of your energy.
Like the muscles that you see, the muscles, what they do is 31% muscles in your heart. They move a lot about it, so they zapping your energy. The heart is continually moving, taking some of your energy. 29% is your liver and your kidney. And then we go all the way down to 33%, that's your brain. That's body control, mental activity, okay? Now, I'm not gonna read a lot of these right here, but this is how to stop negative energy. We have positive energy and negative energy. Negative energy that we release is you didn't get the promotion, you're mad at somebody because they cut you off, They got the last piece of fruit. You know, all of that negative energy that you hold in your body, release that. Go on to the positive side. I always like to say early in the morning, I say my prayer. I do a little workout, and then all the energy that I'm eluding in my body is gonna start my day when I walk out the door. So I start that within.
And then the self-talk too, when you talk to yourself, a lot of time if you talk to yourself and start so much negative talk, I can't do that, I don't want to do that, or this person is doing that. You are so busy talking to yourself negatively, it's draining as well.
Yep.
You know, so that's good. All right.
So I think that's it for the energy tip. Okay, we got one more. I was looking for that.
It's the
one.
last
I like
slide,
this
yes.
one. Yeah, now look on the right side of the last slide. The energy in human life. So what we do is the foods. Remember, I tell you different type of foods, carbohydrates, fats, other different foods. That goes into our system. And then the ATP is the body energy, and then your metabolism speeds up. So like I said, the 2 to 3 hours in between, we eat and our energy goes like that. And then what you're doing is you're burning off that. Remember I said that once you start breathing and working out, carbon dioxide in the water, you're sweating that out. And the heat, trust me, you burn off, and that's good energy. So then the purpose of energy is living organisms require energy to stay alive, such as energy we get from food that we eat. We also require energy to function in our daily lives, such as fossil fuels, nuclear fuels, or renewable fuels. So everything around us is energized. You look at now, they have wind, they have all kind of different. In Japan, they had most of their vehicles were electric,
Right.
no gas. And then the last part, the energy in our body, you know, energy is produced from the food in our body and used to maintain our body's essential functions. You know, the cells in our body, they grow from, you know, the energy. We have blood transport from one part of your body to the next part. And then you perform physical activities and tasks, you know, exercise, work. So the energy that we have, use that to your advantage, because I didn't put on the vitamins because I don't know what people are taking, and I don't like the overload. And I told Joetta I wouldn't put that on.
Yeah.
So different things, B12, vitamin D, vitamin E, they got a lot of different natural herbs that we do. And the main one is the sun.
Yeah.
So, you know, go out and get energized and let's go, Joe Town.
Well, thank you for that health tip and powering us up. And now we're going to go back to Sheila. We want you to power us up. But before that, Sheila, I want you to know we're going to move on to our next segment. This show is going by kind of fast. And
let's do a check-in real quick.
Oh, let's do a check-in. Anybody want to check in?
We can do a check-in.
Yes,
I want to start this check-in because I gave y'all a little challenge for myself. Remember, last week, I came in at...
It's really too late.
No. They can see that.
Can you see that, Sheila?
Last week, I came in at 190 pounds. Week 2, I'm at 186.6. I told you I'm gonna drop 2.5. I'm on my way. So somebody give me a check-in.
Good, Tyrone. Yay, Tyrone.
Give me a check-in on how much water you drink, how much.
Anybody checking in before we keep it moving? Any check-ins?
You want to see
No
a check-in?
check-ins?
Y'all see them?
All right, well, I tell you
we
what.
got check-ins.
We have a check-in?
You going too fast. We got a check-in. Oh, we got a check-in.
Anybody else? Let's see in our chat.
We got a congrats. We got Cheryl. Cheryl is checking in.
Let's see, Cheryl, you're checking in, and then we're gonna keep it going with Sheila. Cheryl, what's your check-in? Cheryl Norman, unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
There you go.
Oh, can you hear me?
I
Yes. Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, Tyrone, congratulations. I was looking at your little 2 points. I think that's great. You know what? I'm getting leaner too with all the exercise I'm doing and drinking more water. So congrats. I have the thing on my refrigerator. So I'm moving forward.
There you go.
Well, thank you. Well, that's good. And I think that we had 341 people for the challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And we just want to make sure that you are following the challenge and that you're putting your checks down. And so this is day 7 of the challenge. So with that being said, we're going to go back to Sheila and we're going to talk about another thing that she does. Not only does she is a first responder, not only does she help people at the VA with these many programs that she does, she's also big with nutrition and exercise. She does Tai Chi, Tai Chi, and she teaches that as well. So, Sheila, do you want to go on to the nutritional part or?
Sure, that's fine. Just want to give some points out, and I know that we talk about nutrition all the time, and as Tyrone said, we want to make sure we're getting foods from all the food groups. I want to mention fad diets because that's what a lot of people do a lot of times, and I want to warn you about being careful when you're eliminating foods. And I remember the cabbage diet. You had to eat only cabbage, and you didn't get much nutrients from that, but you did lose. Beware of losing 20 pounds in 10 days because it's unsafe for your organs and for your body as well. So I wanted to talk about how we eat and why we eat, because many times we don't know why we're eating. Are you emotionally drained? Or are you just bored? Or are you hungry? So I wanted to talk about hunger and cravings a little bit because we teach a lot about that, because hunger is something that you will have physical type symptoms from, growling in the stomach and things like that, or headaches and things like that. So it's basically something that if you were hungry, you would eat anything. And the difference between that and cravings is that cravings is something that's usually emotional. And you saw something on TV that you wanted and you started wanting to eat just because of that. And or it's very specific. It comes very suddenly. So if you wanted those Krispy Kreme donuts and you happen to, someone gave you a Dunkin' Donut, it won't do because it's not specific enough for what you want. So just knowing why you eat. One good thing about cravings is after 20 minutes, you can distract yourself and it will go away, but you have to train yourself to do things like that.
How do you train yourself? That's a good point. How do you train yourself? I mean, like you said, craving Haagen-Dazs ice cream or whatever, and we're not doing that for our child, but how does someone train themselves not to have the craving or to work through the craving?
And in terms of being distracting, doing things, trying to find something. I'm always talking about a toolbox, trying to find some hobbies. If you only have one tool, and I need for you to drive, but what I tell the guys sometimes, drive a nail in, and you only have a screwdriver. Right. You can't do everything with that one tool. So making sure that you're knowing what your body is doing and knowing if the difference between the two. And you have to get busy. You got to do some things and go mow the lawn. I know it's something in your house that you got to do during COVID. We cleaned up house when we were home. So I'm sure there are things that you can do to motivate you to take your mind off it. And if you could get through those 20 minutes, usually you forget about it because you're busy.
Good, I like that.
You got a question?
We have a question too about nutrition. So what's the question about nutrition that you want to ask to Sheila?
Well, we have a question from Hazel.
Oh, from Hazel? Yeah, I hope that is a nutritional question. So we'll see.
Hi, it's a nutritional comment.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I really like how you guys are breaking down simple fundamentals, small changes to diet and exercise, small things like drinking more water and just being active. For me, I kind of had plateaued, I would say, or couldn't really lose weight for a while, and I couldn't figure out why. And I instituted some of those small changes, and it was amazing to me how just being consistent, I was able to stabilize my weight. So I love the way you guys are presenting it. It's not overwhelming. It's something that everyone can do, and it's really palatable. And so I just wanted to say that I love your approach.
Thank you. Thanks for those comments. And again, we talk about the 64 ounces of water that you have to have a day. And sometimes.
So did you just show me that you have pineapples
I was just showing you my water? Yeah. I thought I would show that because I am still drinking my water, and it's important. I think that when I'm being distracted from having my Haagen-Dazs ice cream, I will drink my water for that 20-minute period because we all have our little challenges. So you were talking about being
Did
distracting
you see my little
yourself.
bottle too? So
Yeah, I
you,
see your big
okay.
bottle of
Let
water
me
over
put
there.
my water back.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about water since we were on that, because you all have put out the challenge for 64 ounces, and you're right on target, because we are required to sort of have 8 to 12 cups of water, and that's 64 ounces to about 96
Yeah.
ounces. And the importance of water, the thing is, providers give nurses orders to carry through. So you'll come in the office and they'll say, oh, you look dehydrated, just drink more water. And we don't know what that means, because we're trying to put out the rationale about water. And one thing, like Tyrone has talked about in some podcasts, that our bodies are 60 to 75% water. So you cannot do without it. So from head to toe, we need it. Our brains are cushioned with water. Our blood stream is completely mostly water. And our eyes, you see people are taking artificial tears just to be able to move their eyes because they're dehydrated and they don't have a chance to digest food that they need to push from your mouth all the way down to your esophagus to your stomach. So those areas are dry. And so if you don't get those 8 to 12 cups of water in, what will happen is that you decide not to drink tomorrow. You begin to rob from the areas that it is needed. If your heart needs it and your kidneys, you begin to have problems. So people who had colonoscopies and they haven't been drinking water, they have this crustiness that may be in the intestines adhering to the wall. Or if you had an endoscopy with this going from the top down to check the digestive system, you're seeing polyps that could be cancerous. And so medications, trying to flush through stuff, I have patients that take handfuls of pills and they'll take a sip of maybe orange juice and that's it. But these are compounded chemicals that are compressed and we're taking them every day and we don't have the fluids to deal with them. So definitely, I just wanted to throw that in because we are losing almost 8 to 12 cups of water a day. That's the rationale by getting it back in, because we're urinating, we're sweating, we're sleeping. All these ways we are losing water. So that's why it's so very important, and it has no calories in it. So it's the best drink.
I'm laughing, Sheila. You're talking about you're sleeping and you're exercising, you're sweating. And in my mind, to my audience, and I apologize, you gotta throw menopause in there because that's a lot of water.
I don't have no menopause.
Yes.
I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, people are automatically extra sweat. So for those of you who are going through that stage, please make sure you drink extra
Turn that
water.
thermostat down.
And then we're talking about with the Joe Time 28-day challenge. We're talking about the sugars, and you'd be surprised at how many people told us how difficult it was for them not to have sugars in their drinks. And with the challenge, we want to meet you where you are. So it would be great to stop cold turkey, but if you can't, you wean off of it. Can you speak to people who are struggling with not putting sugar in their coffee or their teas or extra salt on their food? Can you talk to that?
You got
to
white
our
stuff
audience?
alone.
Yeah, so we want to try to deal with substitutions if you come into sugar, especially since the challenge is happening, because the more sugar you have, the more you will crave for it. And we sometimes call sugar a drug. It's very addictive and hard to get rid of. People who like chocolate and caffeine and the things that it allows you to do, they want the sugar. So understanding that calories in drinks that are not water, you can almost drink 100 to 1,200 calories of a drink, getting it in the morning, getting your lattes and your different things like that. So if you're on a 1,500 calorie diet, you already done blew it with just your first drink with the sugar, all that stuff in there. So salt, definitely. Women, we have to worry about that. Menopause, people who are still having to have menstrual cycles and things. We are bloated at all times. And even if we taste some salt, we having some issues with that, gaining 3 pounds in a day. So we're worried about the salt that we are intaking, because we know that naturally all you can have is from 1,500 milligrams to 2,300 milligrams. But what happens is I have one patient who likes to eat the noodles in the pack there, and in that it has 1,600 milligrams, and he eats several packs a day. So that alone, just taken away, like you say, meeting someone where they are, we don't take it all away. We allow people to continue to eat what they like, but we have to sort of eat smaller portions, and we have to curve it down to make sure that you're not suffering from any inflammations throughout your body, mainly in your extremities and your ankles and in your, hands. Your ring is tight and things like that. So watching out for that salt intake, that's one thing you can do for sure.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we have as one of the rules and guidelines for the challenge. And I guess if you want to find out more about the challenge, you could visit our website page. But right now, if you look at the challenge, we have some rules and guidelines for you. And this is important to speak to as well, Sheila. We thought that this was best. Even though people thought that the challenge was an exercise challenge, it was more the rules and guidelines.
Yeah.
And we will work on the exercise when the app comes out, but we did give you some workouts to do, some easy and adaptable workouts to do. But if you go back to that, to the guidelines, if you look at that, there's chocolates, the no sugar, no fruity drinks.
Yeah, small portions. Drink 64 ounces of water. Limit your caloric intake. And the exercise part, warm up and warm down. Sleep 6 to 8 hours. Weigh yourself once a week, optional. And however, you will need to record a beginning and an end with
And the
your
weight,
weight.
yeah.
So Sheila, we were when we thought about the challenge, the same thing Joetta said was some people got to start on the inside. You got to start putting the water in,
Yes,
food in, the prayer in, before you start lifting the weight, running, jumping rope, doing all those things. So a lot of we had a question just now, and somebody was asking us what was the 7-day challenge about. Joetta just showed them that it was a 28-day fitness challenge.
Right.
And the challenge itself is for you to curb some things that you've been doing, because like me, I don't drink soda. I haven't drank soda since 90 something. But the thing is, every now and then I would get an iced tea. But like Joetta said, I was telling him before, I would get an iced tea and it would say 40, 50, 60% added sugar. Added. It's already 19 whatever grams it is.
Yeah.
And if I'm allowed, 36 grams of sugar because I'm 180 pounds and 5'10", I've already exceeded that 20 grams just in my drink.
sure.
Wow, that's a lot of information, and you have so much, and we need more than just this show to go over everything. But is there something that you want to tie into our audience? And if you have any questions, audience,
They do,
or
yes.
comments, please let us know about them. But Sheila, do you have anything that you want to say that kind of wraps up the mental aspect, the nutritional aspect, and the overall being?
Just making sure that you are listening to your body, listening to what you actually need, because you can put out the claim for us to do 64 ounces, and some people are on fluid restrictions because they have heart issues, or they can only drink half of that. So checking in with your doctor for sure to make sure that you're doing what's right and what's safe. But mentally, we're making sure it's all right, telling ourselves that we're okay. We may be just going through a rough patch. We just need to let our support system tell us that you're okay, because sometimes we need to check in telling ourselves the story in our head. We may have these automatic negative thoughts, which we call ants, and it can be detrimental to us. And so for sure, not saying things about like using the word should all the time, it triggers. Knowing your triggers
Right.
Should can say, well, I should have worked out today, and I
Mhm.
didn't, and I should have ate better. And every day you're defeating yourself by telling yourself these different things. So you have to know your triggers, knowing if it's a person sometime that's making you overeat, or a situation. So get in control and pulling yourself together and making sure that you are all right, and checking in with your friends who really know you. They'll tell you, I'll help you get through it, and we'll get past this. So look for that, those positive affirmations from people.
And sometimes you have to, when you look at them, sometimes as we talked earlier, they could be also draining. So be careful when you're doing something great and have a challenge going on. Those
Yeah.
naysayers may be, why are you trying to do
Oh
that?
yeah.
And so
Or
we
you
take
losing
that
too much weight.
too much
Or
weight. You're looking
why
good.
are you drinking so
Right.
much water? Or look at you eating bird food,
Right, yeah,
stuff like that.
right. So you have to
So
be careful of that as well, to make sure that you don't let them get
yeah.
you off of your game plan and what it is that you want to do for yourself. Well, Sheila, I am so happy that you didn't get anyone, that you get distracted with your game plan of being a first responder for over 30 years, and for being in the trenches when it's hot, and when people are doing wrong, you want to do right. And I think you comforted our listener when you said people talk to their
Yes.
parents and to their
Amen.
homes parents and whisper, because we
Yes.
don't know that they're doing that, and we don't really think you're doing that. We're thinking that they're just being neglected and you're doing whatever. So just to hear that, it gives her hope and her family hope that that's what those nurses are doing in that facility.
We got a question, Sheila. It says, I'd like to ask Ms. Inman, how should we balance water intake with carb and protein intake?
Okay. So knowing the numbers, basically, protein for one thing, we can have 4 to 6 ounces a day. What we do eat is probably about twice that, because meat and proteins was a delicacy at some point. So we weren't meant to be able to digest all these things for 3 meals. In royalty times, they only had feasts once a week with meat. So and things like that. So I'm vegetarian, so I can say that I have to be able to balance, because we're pushing more of meats. I'm sorry, of fruits and vegetables for the fiber, for things that make you full. So when you're eating more fruits and vegetables, you're getting fuller, and you're drinking the water because you're gonna want it. You're gonna be thirsty. So balancing those things like that, the sugar, like he said, 15 grams will be pretty good, if you can kind of stick around that, and you can lose half a pound to up to 2 pounds a week. And just trying to know those numbers and sticking to whatever is important to your health care.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for explaining that. And you also said to be careful. Don't rush yourself into losing the weight. It takes
Yes.
steps.
Yes.
Work on things slowly because you want the weight to stay off. But this challenge is a lifestyle change.
Yes.
And what you've been doing at the VA is a lifestyle change and helping people and meeting them where they are. So you have had years of experience with changing people's lives. And I hope that you know that you've changed the lives of people that have been on this podcast. And if anyone came on late, they can go to YouTube to Joetime Fitness, Jotyme Fitness, to see this again. And you can also go to the website, joettasportsandbeyond.com, and we have all of the previous shows. This was the 18th episode of the show, so we're moving along just fine. And we have many sponsors to help us out with this. And then, Sheila, we just want to say thank you for that parting word. And before I go, I have a shameless plug that I'm going to do. My shameless plugs, and I'm going to have you do one too, Sheila and Tyrone. My shameless plug is this, is that I am going to be a guest speaker at a women's event. And I don't know if you can see that. It might be kind of small on your screen, but if you can see it, could you please register to find out what you can do to transfer and to transition to greater heights in your business. And it's also on my website. And then if you want to have the Joetime hat, and this is for the 1 week, it's been 1 week. So we're offering this. If you purchase the hat and t-shirt, the Showtime hat and t-shirt. And if you purchase it or everything by Friday, I'm only giving you 2 days. We would give you the Joetta All Natural perfume as complimentary.
Just for women, right?
No, men too. Your girlfriend or your wife or to someone at work, give it to Sheila at the hospital, your first responder. Great stuff so it can smell
How
good.
about an Olympic pin for a man or something?
Well,
Look.
That's the deal. This perfume will be
I hear you.
will be part of the package. So you buy the hat and shirt and the perfume is complimentary, and you do it what you want to.
All right, if they buy a hat and a shirt,
Right.
what I do
Okay, what
from
you gonna do?
Showtime Fitness
Yes.
is give them a complimentary massage.
Who's gonna give them a massage? You gonna give them a massage? You hear that?
Massage
You gonna give
Envy.
everyone a
Listen,
massage?
Massage Envy. I have 3 that'll be complimentary if you buy a hat and a t-shirt by Friday.
I don't know. That's only 3. I don't know how it's gonna work. Well,
3 people that buy the hat and the shirt get a massage.
I guess the first 3 people.
I said the first 3.
Okay, so we have 2 now. Now we have the first 3 people who buy the hat and t-shirt before Friday. So that means Friday. So this ends actually Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. So if you come in on Friday at 12:01 a.m., that's too late. The first 3 that buy the hat and shirt will get a Massage Envy massage.
An hour
And-
massage. So
an hour
let
massage.
us know where you're located,
and we'll
what time
figure that
you
out.
want to know, and we'll set it up.
And then the perfume, however, will be something that I'm doing from my collection that goes to anybody that
Just
buys a
women?
hat and shirt. Him and it's just women. You got a girlfriend, a boy, give it to the girlfriend, and give it to the wife, or whatever. You figure it out. Anyway, what's your shameless plug? And we have to wind down.
Oh, I was trying to think of one, but
You don't
I
have
just
one?
know. I just know that I just have a comment. I've been doing the Showtime Fitness Challenge, and it has definitely changed my life. I started a week earlier just to do it over twice when you started, but I just wanted to say that in my testimony, I have been diabetic for 12 years, and in these 3 weeks, I have been taken off of all of the 4 medications that I was on because my blood sugars, because I wouldn't exercise and eat right. Well, I just was so busy. And so now that I'm concentrating on it, I just want to let you know, doing something for myself as a first responder has really changed my life. And I thank you guys dearly.
Well, thank you
you're
for that
welcome.
testimony. We appreciate that. And as you're off it, I know that now that you're off of those medications, you're going to stay off. So
Yes.
I
Yes,
know that you're going to do that. And then I say to anyone that wants to be a sponsor of the show, please contact us at joetimefitness@gmail.com. That's how you can become a sponsor of the show. And to find out more information about the show, you can visit the website as well. That's joetimefitness@gmail.com to become a sponsor. And everything that you need to know is on our website, joettasportsandbeyond.com. Everything about the challenge, about the podcast, about the hats and things like that. Tyrone?
Thanks once again for completing 7 days for the Showtime Fitness Challenge. And the next week is going to be amazing. So right now, just stick to what you're doing. You know, for us, it's a lifestyle. So treat it as a lifestyle. Once you get past that 28 days, you're going to be set up for the next 28 days.
Wow. Well, Sheila, thank you very much for giving us your time, your knowledge, your expertise. And we really appreciate what you've done in the past, but more importantly, we appreciate what you're going to do in the future for yourself and for those who you help at the VA. And as I always say, it doesn't matter what road you take, but what you become along the journey. Thank you for taking the journey with us this evening, and we will see you again next week, same time, same place. And we look forward to hearing your comments about the challenge on our website and on our Showtime Fitness page on Facebook. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yeah.